This is the tutorial for those that haven't used Illustrator much before or want to update their knowledge on just the basics that we'll be using in class. So first off, this is the screen that you will hopefully see when you open Illustrator. What you're going to need to do is go create new, if it works. And then you want to set the size of your paper or workspace in Illustrator. Now you can do that by selecting an A4 preset, selecting any of the other presets that are here or along the top here, or you can change the sizing so that then you could have a 10 by 10 centimeter piece of paper. For me, I'm just going to change this to centimeters so that then it's a little bit easier for me to understand. I'm going to make my orientation of my A4 document so it is landscape, and then I'm going create. Okay, when you open up a new document, you should have your tool. The first tool that should be selected is this one here, which is if I hover, it should tell me. I think it's called the direct selection tool or something like that. Essentially, it's just like a normal mouse. So with that one selected, I want to teach you some basic navigational, I guess, hacks or shortcuts. So if you press Control and then plus with your keyboard, you will find, and my Illustrator isn't working, you will find that it will zoom in. If you press Control minus, you'll find multiple times, you'll find that you'll zoom out. If you press Control 0, what you will get is your page fit back to the size of your screen perfectly. So keep those in mind. Control plus to zoom in, Control minus to zoom out, and Control 0 to have your page fit to the screen. Okay, another one that you should be aware of, if you hold the spacebar, then you're able to drag your page around wherever you like. And I think that's about all I need to tell you for now. Okay, so that's your basic navigation stuff. What I'll tell you now is about different artboards. So at the moment, this is just one piece of A4 paper, call it. If we wanted to add more pages onto our document, what we would do is come down to this art board tool right here. So if we click on that, we can see that it outlines that in blue. Now, there's a few different options that we can use here. I'm going to zoom out so that then I can see a greater part of this grey space. Probably the most useful one that you're going to use, if you hold down the Alt key, can you see how your mouse changes? What you're going to do is you are going to click and drag until I like my things to line up. See how we've got those, they call them snap guides. So it holds it in place and then you let go. Now you have a direct replica of your previous artboard. The other option that you can use, if you hold your mouse off in this grey space, you'll notice that it's a different icon that's there. You can click and drag and you can make an artboard whatever size you like. It doesn't have to line up. You can draw one randomly over here. Oh, one thing that is useful that I'm hoping you'll all be aware of, another keyboard shortcut, Control Z will undo your previous move. You can undo all of your moves if you like. Just keep pressing Control Z. So I'll keep that artboard right there for the time being. I'm going to press Control 0. Notice, however, that when I press Control 0, it's going to zoom in on the artboard that is selected. So at the moment, it's going to zoom in on artboard number 2, the copy. All right. I want to zoom in on artboard number 1, so I'm reselecting that one. And then I'm going back to my selection tool, pressing Control 0. Beautiful. Okay, now that I've had a room change, let's continue. So we just went through the artboards. Now we're going to have a look at the shape tool that's just here. So if and my Illustrator isn't working again. Okay, if I hover over here, at the moment it says it's the rectangle tool. However, if I right click on that, I've got a bunch of different tools that I can select from. So let's start off with the rectangle and let's draw that up. Be aware that if you hold Shift, then it will have a perfect shape. So in this case, a perfect square. If I let go, I can draw whatever sized rectangle I may like. So I'm going to do a perfect one, let go. Okay, we have a bunch of things here. let's start off with manipulating the shape of this. So see these dots that are right here? If I click and I drag these in, it will adjust how much of a curve the edges have. So you can adjust that however you like. It will do all of the edges all at the same time. The other thing that you can do, you can obviously manipulate how big or small the shape is. You can also rotate it. So just be aware of that. Up the top here is the colors of this shape. So this one here is the fill. You can either select one of these pre-created color swatches. You can look at other varied color swatches like these ones here, and you can add them to over here, or you can add them somehow to this. I won't show you that just yet. The other thing that you can do is if you hold shift and press on that tab, you can select whatever color you like. So I'm going with, no, they're all pretty average. That one there, I think. At the moment though, if I go back to my selection tool, you can see that it's got the black line around it. With this black line, you can make it a completely different color. So at the moment it is orange. You can also increase the strokes. If I've got the shape selected, you can increase the stroke width. Totally your choice. You can play with that. Generally, though, for good design, and this isn't an always fact, but generally, I find that people go none or no outline. You can do the same thing for your fill. So just the box with the red line through it, you select that, and that's what you need. Okie dokie. Next, what do we need to know? Shapes. You can create a multitude of shapes. If you go to the polygon tool, that has an extra feature, which is very interesting. Can we see this little dot that's right here? And when I hover over it, it gives me a plus and a minus. What that will do, it will decrease the amount of sides on my shape, and it will also increase the amount of sides on my shape. So this is the way that you can create a perfect triangle with 3 sides, and then you can manipulate it however you like. Now, one more quick, piece of advice. When you are doing shapes, you can also use what's called a shape builder tool, which can combine shapes, and it can also cut them as well. Actually, no, I'll show you that one first. Okay, if you select both of your shapes either by holding shift like I just did, or you can select like so clicking and dragging, then if you go to the shape that looks, the tool, sorry, that looks like it's a cloud called Shape Builder Tool. Now, if you have your shape selected, you'll notice that there is a plus next to the arrow. That will mean that it will combine these two shapes so that then they're now connected. If I can Control Z, I'm going to add in one more shape, I think. I'm going to add in one just right here. Fantastic. And I'm going to select all of my shapes again. Okay. If I now go to the Shape Builder tool, but this time I hold Alt on my keyboard, I'm going to delete any of the shapes that are now selected. If I then let go, that part of the shape is now missing because I have deselected it. Okay, and then if I wanted to, I could then select, it's got a plus, select these two parts of the shapes. Here I've got a weird and wacky shape that is connected. Okay, I'm going to delete this, but that is just another tool that you can use. And I'm going to create one last shape to show you one more thing. Okay. Normally the arrow tool that we use is the selection tool. However, there is also this white one, which is the direct selection tool. If I click on that one, what this one allows me to do is change any anchor points that I like. All I have to do is I have to select the anchor point and then select the anchor point, and then I can drag it and I can manipulate it and I can move it. So I can change the shape of a pre-existing shape and turn it into, say, if I'd made this a circle, I could have turned him into Pac-Man. Excellent. Notice how we've got that curved part right here. I can also curve my corners. Okay, cool, shapes. Let's move on. Alrighty. I'm going to stop this video right here. I'm going to call this part 1, and I will highlight that it is all about navigation and shapes. Click on to part 2 of my tutorial videos to learn about the pen tool, curvature tool, and that's about it. Okay.